In the past, we've talked about things like learning how to learn as being important aspects of what a school can try to do with its students. Learning how to learn sounds great. We should all be in favor of it. But what's become clear recently is that learning how to learn is no longer just a nice thing to have. Today, it's a survival skill. The scary thing about being an educator in America right now is that we are preparing our students for a world we cannot imagine. And no matter what you teach your students, no matter how much you teach your students, it won't be enough, because most of what they need for the rest of their lives hasn't been discovered or invented yet. So the key idea here is that students have to become owners of their own learning. If your students leave your classroom full of knowledge, but with that desire for learning extinguished, you will have failed them. The most important thing you can do is to nourish and feed that flame that every young person, every child starts with, but sometimes somehow gets extinguished along the way. So we need to make sure that students are active as owners of their own learning. And my work in this area has been greatly influenced by my work with people who teach children how to play musical instruments. Now, if you teach children to play a musical instrument, you might get a music lesson with them once a week, 20 to 30 minutes. There's not enough time in 20 or 30 minutes to make very much progress. The progress that students make in learning a musical instrument mostly happens when the teacher is not present. When we're teaching math or social studies or science or language arts, we tend to think that the students make most progress when they're with us, and homework can be sometimes a useful add-on. People who teach musical instruments know that they have to spend the time they've got with their students preparing them for that effective practice. If your students don't know how to learn on their own, then they can't ever become good as players of musical instruments. And I would suspect that in the future now, because there is so much to learn, because there is so little time, the key thing that every teacher needs to do is to make sure that their students develop the skills that they need to be able to manage their own learning. If they don't do that, then they're really going to struggle in this impossibly unpredictable world of the future.